All right, hey, what's up, guys? Good Tuesday afternoon. How's everybody doing? Hope everyone's doing pretty awesome. So on today's episode, we're going to read chapter 6. And I know I didn't say the chapter before, so I'm just going to say it right now. Real quick. Let's see. Sorry for the interruption. So the chapter is going to be called John, the Savior of Earth Incorporated. It's a weird title, I know, but at the time I felt this was a good title, so we just have to go along with it. So up to this point, what have we gone over? So essentially, first we were introduced to an alien called Code 3327 who's going to Earth. Then we got introduced to Ro, who's also going to Earth as well for his reasons. And then the last chapter we went over a third character. His name is John, who has this uncanny desire to go to Earth and bring the secret to world peace, as he says it. And he gave us, a list of steps, a list of mantras that he's going to use in order to promote his wish, his vision of a brave new world, a world where peace and calamity exists. So, with that being put in perspective, we're going to read chapter 6, which again will be mostly monologue about John. It'll be another John-esque type chapter. But after this chapter you will see how things are gonna start changing, because after this chapter we'll still have three characters, three different personalities going to this earth for their own reasons, and we still don't know what's gonna happen. But again, as the days go on, I will read each chapter and you will see how the story will eventually come together. So without further ado, let's read chapter 6. Oh, and on a side note, I finished 3 weeks. Officially, I finished 3 weeks of P90X3, so that's 21 days next week, so I have 10 more weeks. So essentially, 3 weeks are done, 10 more weeks left until I do the program. And as you can see, getting there, I got some, muscles now. And I could even pop the chest a little bit. Well, that's for later, so no, I'm playing. Alright, so anyway, let's get started on chapter 6, John, the Savior of Earth Incorporated. And let's see what this entails. Technically, I should be heading towards a planet unknown to my eyes. That's what makes it a fun and mysterious mission, am I correct? Thought so. So it seems that I'm one of those people who enjoy a good ride along the ribs of the unknown universe, and being able to explore its frontiers would be a dream for me. But unfortunately, I have nowhere else to go but Earth. I certainly can't go back home. Are you crazy? If they found out I had deserted the community to retreat to another, I would have most certainly faced death. And you wonder why death? To be honest, I'm not so sure either. It's just the thing that they had back on my home planet. Something about always sticking together with a team and never having any doubts about deserting or leaving your countrymen for another civilization. Believe me, I've heard the stories. A minority member decides he has had it up to here with this goddamn majority, always having the whole power to themselves, and only passing laws they see fit to the entire community when they are really only benefiting themselves. He gets sick of it, so guess what he decides to do one day? Run away. That's right, desertion, just like my current situation now. Now, here's where the difference comes in though. He told his best friend that he was going to get out of here and invited him to come along with him if he wanted to escape the tyrannous rule. His friend apparently, and this is one of many eyewitness accounts, quickly left to the elders of the majority and told him on the spot about what his best friend had just told him about deserting and everything. Predictably, they got really angry and decided to place an arrest warrant on the person before he could escape. They caught him and actually did right before he took off from his own spaceship he had built himself and had taken him months to do. It was destroyed on the spot and he was put into what we call a community trial, in which everyone was encouraged to attend and then base their conviction on what the people wanted the man to suffer. Of course, the only people who ever attended these meetings were the ones who belonged to the majority. Otherwise, certain outcomes would not have been accomplished, but that's a different story. To make this short, minority members were allowed, but most wouldn't even show up at all. It's not because they were afraid of speaking out against the decision of the majority members within the trial, they just figured, what's the point? No matter what they would say in either defense or prosecution of the defendant or jury, it would always be ruled in favor of what the majority would decide. This is a summary of what happened to the man caught in this scenario. Please proceed with extreme caution. and we'll stop here for now. So right now, so essentially, we figure out that John actually escapes from his home planet, and then goes on to say that it's a pretty big deal, you know, when a person deserts his country and goes to another, calling it desertion. Now, a good example of this in today's world would be North Korea, where you have people that are trying to escape this dictatorship into China. I mean, because right now because apparently that's the only border that is the most. I mean, I'm not saying easy to cross. I mean, China basically sends any refugee that tries to cross into China illegally back to North Korea, and people know that once they get back to North Korea, you know, they suffer an immense amount of torture. It's really sad. But I mean, otherwise, there's nowhere else to go. They can't go to South Korea because that place is fortified to heck. I mean, there's no way you can cross without, you know, help. There's mines, there's tunnels, but there's bombs, and I mean, it's just a lot of shit. And then I think that they can border Russia too, but that place is also guarded by, you know, North Korean military police. And so essentially for everybody that tries to defect, the only way is to go through China, and then from there try to journey all the way to one of the countries in the mainland, like Laos, Thailand, Malaysia, and then from there to try to find South Korea. So you can already see how this is kind of maybe, and I'm just making an allegory here, and I feel like this is something that we can relate to in today's world. So then he's going to describe, I guess, a trial that happened that involved a certain case like this. So without further ado, I'm going to describe this trial in the story and then see what happened to this man, you know, that was put on the stand. This man had brought shame and dishonor to the entire communal status of this planet by attempting to gain repatriation by fleeing to another planet. He was rebelling against the rules and that have been set in stone by our majority ancestors of old. How do you plead your innocence? Not guilty. Not guilty, you say? Is this correct? Yes, I'm not guilty at all and don't deserve to be. Are you trying to be humorous with us, minority member? No, I'm not. I am serious with this court of majority law. Now you're just trying our patience, minority. What am I doing wrong, if I may ask? Driving our patience, one thing's for sure. And what's your point? You do realize we are ultimately in charge of what happens to your life, right? Yes. And what does that mean to you? Well, it says that you have the power to be a bunch of evil dictators and play around with minorities with your will of power. What did you just say? Nothing. Say it again, we dare you. Say what exactly? I'm warning you, don't play around with us. I'm not. I have no idea what you are talking about. Treating us like fools will not get you anywhere. Come again? Treating us like fools will not get you anywhere. I'm exemplifying the effect, you know, but that's how the court is talking to this person. But anyway, no need to scream, your majesties. I have had it up here with your smart talk. Admit you were trying to leave this planet or face an even worse punishment than we already have in store for you. I'm not going to admit it because I don't need to. You are one big gambler, boy, but I'm afraid you're going to lose this time. I don't even understand what you're trying to say, majority members. I'm confused. Confused now, are we? Yes, sirs. Don't play with us. I'm not actually. I'm losing it, man. I'm losing it. What's your point, you stupid whale? What? You heard me. Say it again. Alright, I'll say it again. You're a huge stupid whale with no morals in regards to the minority group and only care about what your majority needs and your selfish interests. You know it to be true. Admit it. That's it. I've had it. Excuse me, sir? Doesn't matter if you say you didn't try to escape our planet. You were still trying to leave our beloved planet, and for that, I sentence you to the punishment of death. This is ridiculous. Why is it? We're only doing what's best for your kind. I can't believe what you are saying to me. This is unbelievable. Tough luck. Life is unfair. Well, I be damned. If it's death, then at least I'll be free at last from all your hatred and envy from our minority group. I can't wait to embrace the face of death. Not afraid of death? Not at all, sir. Not at all. Well, that is fine with us. We will have your execution ready in a shift. I can't wait. I know you are. Let's get this over with. I hate this society. Court is now adjourned. Remove this filth and send him to the execution tower. He will die at noon tomorrow for crimes against the majority and to the people of our homeland. Free at last, free at last. Thank heavens I'll be free at last. And that's the end of this section. So we just had this trial now where, you know, this person was accused of repatriation to another country or another planet or whatever. And yeah, and eventually, you know, the people, the majority rules in this case. So whatever they say, you know, goes. You know, even if this man was really innocent, he knew he had no chance. He knew he couldn't plead his innocence because the court is not fair and just. It's all corrupted and served to only serve the majority's interests. So if you didn't like steal money from there, but they tell you did steal that money, you know, what's your case? You get to a point where it's just like, man, I guess I'm guilty because, I mean, even if you try to prove that you didn't do it, the majority rules. So whatever they say, that's what you get. Again, I make the allegory to North Korea. There's been trials where, you know, things like this have happened. I think the term here, I think they're called a kangaroo trial, if I remember correctly. A kangaroo trial, for those of you that don't know, it's basically a trial in which the sentence is already kind of decided from the backstory, like from the back of our minds, we already know what the sentence is gonna be, but they only do this trial just for the afterthought. So just so they can say, oh, we had a trial, he was accused of this, we found him guilty, and then sentenced to death. It's almost as if like we told you that we told you, okay, you're gonna have a trial, but in the back of our minds, we're already thinking that you're gonna go to jail for life, you know. But we're only doing this trial that way. The media is happy, the people are happy, so we can say, oh yeah, we had a trial, we had the evidence presented, you know, we found out that he was guilty. So essentially, it's a showcase trial. A kangaroo trial is just basically cementing what is already known by everybody. So that's all it is. So it's, in a way, it's a waste of time because we already know if he's guilty or not guilty, but, you know, what can you do? So with that little story that John has told us, what is his reaction? What does he think about this? Well, let's find out. And there you have it, folks. This is from having witnessed the entire trial for myself. I really couldn't believe why this type of injustice had taken place. I mean, he was a minority after all, but still, I felt he should have received more respect than just being killed. I, personally, wasn't able to attend the execution due to personal reasons. Even if I didn't have any personal reasons to start with, I still wouldn't have gone to the death show in the first place because, to be honest, I'm probably one of those only people there who hated seeing someone die. That's just me. But for most, even for the minorities, they somehow always attended these death shows. And I really could never quite understand why they went. Unlike the government trials, this wasn't mandated by the majority power to come and attend. This was all for anyone wanting to see someone die. Apparently, the minds of these people must be sick if they enjoy seeing someone lose his life. And not just someone, I might add, but a minority who stood up for himself and wasn't afraid of what the majority judges would hand him. He earned my respect, and I could not have cared less if he were a minority or not. He did something that I would bet even the majority population wouldn't dare to do. It might have cost him his life, yes, but his courage to stand up for what he felt was wrong will be remembered within this group for years and years to come. I'm sure of that. Well. Seems to me that it's time for my ultimate speech. If you're wondering what I mean by this, I'm going to address you what I'm going to address to the people of Earth once I arrive there. Because I do want to look professional and all, right? So, I will go ahead and get started. Let me just get ready for this. Well, here I go. And then we're going to stop here for now. So, before he writes his speech, we read his speech. Let's just summarize. So essentially, he just says that, you know, that this guy died really for fighting for what he thought was wrong. Ultimately, he unfortunately paid the price, and with his life. But then John says, you know, we add more character to him by him saying that he doesn't like watching people die, and that he earned so much respect for this man, this stranger, who stood up for the rights of his minority members and not just stay quiet and let the majority rules. I mean, things might not change even after this, but at least people know that he stood up for himself and he didn't just get trampled over. Which honestly, that's some good qualities, some good traits that people can take away from this event. Alright, so here we go. So here's the big enchilada of the chapter. It's the speech by John. So we're about to read it out. We're going to read it, and let's see what his speech is all about. So here we go. The speech of John, the Savior of Earth Incorporated. Fellow humans of Earth, lend me your wondrous ears. This is something that you all would want to hear. I come from a planet distant and far away to help and correct your destructive ways. We must work together to help each other out. In our time of need, this is what this is about. Come forth, fellow man, and trust in me, because together we will all set ourselves free. Earth deserves to live and not be destroyed by human action. It has provided you a home, so why not have a positive reaction? Stop with the wars, the violence, the evil, and the hate. It only hurts yet a civilization, so stop it now before it's too late. Peace and harmony must be achieved and will be at some point in time, but for that we will have to work together. As a famous quote once said, brother, can you spare a dime? Time to rebuild, a time to think, a time for a review of life, and determine whether we should do this as men or as a wife. No offense to the females in the audience, it was only a joke at this point. But now let's get straight to the point of this whole joint. In order for this earth to survive, you must follow my secret to world peace. And if you accomplish this with ease, this should be a breeze. We can all accomplish this if we work together as a team. And if we do this, we will accomplish our long-awaited dream. It will be a difficult process, but I know we will make it to the end. And once we accomplish world peace, we will set an unforgettable trend. And that's the speech. So looking back, I forgot that I made this like a rhyme. So his speech is kind of a rhyming speech. You know, you have ears and here, you have out and about, action, reaction, time, dime, life, wife, peace, breeze. So I tried to, I guess, rhyme this speech out. So, you know, it'd be kind of cool to have that little component. So what's the speech all about? Essentially, this is a speech that he wants to give to the people of Earth once he arrives there and starts to understand what is going on here in this world. So essentially, it's just him saying that we must stop our destructive ways. You know, we have to rebuild. We have to come closer together as a family of human beings and know that this Earth is for everybody and not for us to destroy it, basically. So it's a good speech that he wants to show the people of Earth how world peace can and will be attained and how he hopes to accomplish it. And so with this, we'll read the final section of this chapter and we will end our little video for today. So here we go. So the post speech of John, the Savior of Earth Incorporated. Well, what did you think of my pretty hefty speech? I thought I was perfect on every spot. I just hope this will arouse the humans of Earth to band together as a group and comply with my plan to utilize my secret to world peace and use them on their way of life. That way, life will improve, and I'll be able to be part of what was responsible for the complete transformation of human beings and why this change was meant to happen. That would make any outsider of Earth jealous and full of envy because they know they weren't a part of transforming human society into something positive and beneficial. I can see it now. They will be chanting my name in glory, building countless statues of me, and writing love songs and poetry about my genius and intellectual mind and how I was able to change the foundation of the earth for the best. Ah, that would be some... What's this? According to my sensors, I'm picking up on an unidentified flying ship, or UFS, as we call it back when UFS. Seems to be that he is traveling in the direction that I'm going. Not sure if this ship is also heading towards Earth as well. I hope not, because then that would ruin the complexity and cleverness of my plan to bring the secret of universal peace in exchange for recognition and power on the new planet. It keeps going in my direction, and I do not like it. I better investigate this and try to follow its trail. Maybe then I will get a closer look at this creature inside and maybe ponder and wonder who it is. What's it doing here in the first place, and why is it traveling in the same direction that I'm going? I will be looking forward for these answers once I get on board. Evil stranger peace, here I come. And that's the end of chapter 6. So, to summarize this section and the whole chapter, so in this last section he just says, you know, he wants to be famous, I guess. He wants to be responsible for transforming the Earth into a better place. And then something interesting happens. He gets a radar signal that there's a ship that's going straight to Earth in the direction that he's going, and he wants to investigate who it is. Now, this is essentially, I think, the very first time in which we see a character now trying to intervene with another character. Now, whether this character is Code 3327 or Ro, or maybe another character that's yet to be named, you know, I would leave it up to you to find out and for you to ponder until tomorrow's chapter reading. So to summarize these 6 chapters, we've had Code 3327, Ro, and John as the first 3 characters to be introduced in this book. We have 13 more chapters left, but 14 chapters left, but let me assure you that things will get very interesting at this point. And don't lose sight of this, because, like I said, there will be a fight in the end of the story. There will be conflict happening within the story. There'll be lots of character dialogue. And then we'll get to see how everything will interact in the end. Like I said, there's still more characters to introduce in this story. So far, the 6 chapters, we only introduced 3. But let's just say things will pick up pretty soon at this point. So, all that being said, I just want to say thank you very much for joining me in today's vlog. Happy Tuesday, and hope to see you guys tomorrow for the next episode of this Chronicles of the Universe, Chapter 7, simply named Destructo. Who is Destructo? Well, I didn't want to spoil it, but I'll just say it now. Let's just say he is our next new character to be introduced. His name is Destructo. So with that being said, I'll leave it up to you to ponder who he might be and what he'll be like in the story. And with that, I'll see you guys later, and hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you. Bye-bye.